Here is their debut in 2020. Kayla Pointer runs this LSU team, number 3 in that purple jersey. She's so good at dictating tempo. Awatrazi with the first look at the basket, just a little bit short. Rebound by Mississippi State. Two good point guards in this game. Mississippi State led by Maya Taylor, number 1 in the white jersey today for the Bulldogs.
You're going to see contrasting defense. You're going to see from Mississippi State, they're going to mix up their defenses, but they're going to bring a full court pressure. Sometimes they'll drop back into a man, sometimes they'll drop into a zone. For LSU, they're really going to stick with their 5 defense, which is their matchup zone, and they're going to make Mississippi State have to make shots from the perimeter.
This is LSU's second game here in the SEC tournament. They were able to take down Florida yesterday, 73-59. The Gators were the 10 seed. Oh, Faustine Afua has Jessica Carter all over her.
But in talking about LSU yesterday, Courtney, they went inside to Faustine Afua, but she wasn't having to deal with the size that Mississippi State brings with Jessica Carter.
Yeah, I would say Mississippi State's a lot more physical with that size in the post than what they saw against Florida yesterday.
Absolutely, but the other thing that LSU did was they played really out of character. They were making shots from the perimeter. They went to the free throw line with a purpose, knocking down shots.
Yeah, LSU shot 90% from the free throw line yesterday. They will try to carry that over today. They're not a great free throw shooting team, just 61% on the season. And now Kayla Pointer will head to the line to try to continue that hot streak as Jessica Carter picks up her first.
When these two teams met earlier in the season, both of them were absolutely horrible from the free throw line. And so Vic Schaefer and Nikki Fargas had a conversation, and Vic Schaefer shared some ideas with Nikki of what he's done to try to help his team's free throw shooting. So when he was watching the game yesterday, he's like, well, maybe I gave her too much good advice on that.
Yeah, 90% is pretty good. Again, Mississippi State does not have Rickea Jackson in the starting lineup. It'll be Vic Schaefer's decision on when she enters this game. Violation of team rules. Matharu took her place and takes the 3 from the corner. Aaliyah Matharu. Jalen Richard Harris tries to answer with a 2. It rolls out.
We talked about what change in the starting lineup Matharu would bring.
We've seen the outside shot, and we've seen Jordan Danbury now driving in.
Makes him versatile offensively.
Danbury started her career at Arkansas, now a grad student, got that extra year of eligibility for state. Jalen Richard Harris, she had a couple of 3s yesterday. Neither team shoots a lot of 3s.
But they can. It's just not consistent.
So you're telling me it's a secret weapon, maybe? A little X-Factor?
No, I think it depends on what day it is.
It might be a good day. We've seen each team hit one so far early on.
Absolutely, but let me tell you, you see a couple of early ones. Oh, no.
I think she just got tripped up. Jalen Cherry had an open lane to the basket. I don't know if there was some moisture on the floor. Awatrazi is going to help her up as Rickea Jackson waits to check in for Mississippi State. Oh, good to see her getting up.
When you see a player take off like that, and they're not able to extend, all kinds of bad things could happen. It's good to see Cherry get up.
Mississippi State now has Rickea Jackson in the game. So a little over 2 minutes out to start this game. We'll keep an eye on Jalen Cherry for you. She's been big as of late. Averages 5 points, 3 rebounds. Jackson, number 5 in that white jersey for Mississippi State at the bottom of your screen.
LSU with the matchup. If a cutter goes through, they are always checked off for somebody to have a matchup.
Kayla Pointer with some tough defense on Aaliyah Matharu. It'll stay with Mississippi State. 6 seconds on the shot clock. But Rickea Jackson's numbers are monstrous for a freshman. 16.5 points per game. Instant offense, second among freshmen. That's in SEC regular season games. The first ever McDonald's All-American to come to Mississippi State. Good take by KP, but it won't fall. And then they call a foul on Kayla Pointer.
That's one of the concerns of Nikki Fargas. She cannot afford for Kayla Pointer or Faustina Fua to get in any kind of foul trouble. She needs those two players in particular to stay on the floor.
Matharu blowing past 2 post players, a little short on the shot, and then gets the foul called on her.
See, that's one of those freshman mistakes. You miss a shot, then you compound that mistake with causing a foul 94 feet away from the basket.
Vic Schaefer loves her offensive game. I mean, she is instant offense from inside, from outside. Right now they're focusing on her defense and making smart decisions in game.
But I've seen improvement from her throughout this season. She's getting more committed to that Schaefer-style defense.
And it's an offensive foul on LSU. It's on Matharu, her second. Oh, no, excuse me, it was on Trozzi. Nikki Fargas in her 9th season as LSU's head coach. She's led the Tigers to 6 NCAA tournament appearances. They are expecting to go. They'll be in the NCAA tournament this year.
But she has the mentality, too. It's a new season when you get to the NCAA tournament. Danbury looking very offensive-minded. But once the Tigers have the mindset of getting in the tournament, look, they feel like they have a chance to make anything happen.
Right now, LSU is predicted to be a 9 seed by Charlie Creme. He feels like they would move to the 8 seed with a win over Mississippi State. State he has as a 3 seed.
When you look at Mississippi State and LSU, these two coaches and their philosophy, it's all based on defense. They will always have a strategic plan to defend their opponents.
And Vic Schaefer was the Secretary of Defense under Gary Blair at Texas A&M before he took over the reins at Mississippi State, and everything has improved in Starkville. I mean, the crowds, the record, 2 Final Four appearances. It's been impressive.
He's helped attendance here with the SEC tournament. He said some of the folks in Starkville, Mississippi, they plan their vacations around the women's SEC tournament.
It's a pretty good vacation.
But he talks about it in terms of, he uses that when he talks to his players. He says, we really owe it to our fans to come out and perform because these people have invested in us. They have invested money to come and watch this tournament. So he expects them, or he really employs them to put their best foot forward and put on a good show and compete.
If you haven't been to a game in Starkville, you should. It's a pretty amazing environment. As Faustina Fua grabbed that pass out of the air and put it in the hoop.
She's playing about 7 feet right now, playing much even bigger than she already is.
And she's got size on her. Jessica Carter's the one matched up with her. Pointer out with it.
And talking to Nikki Fargas before the game, she said she wanted to push tempo. She wanted to execute offensively and attack the glass.
Great take. Hey, what a feed from Mercedes Brooks. And she was clutch yesterday in their win over Florida.
Oh, she was super clutch. Even Faustina Fua, when she was talking to Drea Carter after the game, complimented her. Talked about what a major impact she had on the game.
Bibby's 3 won't go in the corner. for the Lady Tigers. And then an offensive foul. LSU's bench is losing their minds. LSU has got some great leaders. Kayla Pointer is one of those.
Well,
it's already been a fun day here at the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. How about South Carolina rolling the #1 seed and the #1 team in the nation? They advance to face Arkansas with a crazy finish against Texas A&M after trailing by 17 in that game. Winner of our game will move on to face either Kentucky or Tennessee in the semifinals tomorrow. And we've got that UK-UT game coming up later tonight. Well, Mississippi State, this is the first time that we're getting to see them in the tournament. They're the 2 seed after winning the whole thing last year, and this is a young team for Vic Schaefer. He graduated some really key pieces, 4 freshmen, 4 sophomores, just 1 senior.
Well, and he came into this tournament last year with 5 seniors, and he, you know, you've got to look at his team. If you said with all that young blood on his team that you would finish this season 25-5, people would say you're nuts. But Vic Schaefer has really molded them into what he has needed. They've bought into what he's selling.
Yeah, it's been impressive, and that one of those freshmen is one of the top freshmen in the nation. Look how many stud freshmen are in the SEC. These are the rankings according to the 2019 recruiting class as ESPNW has ranked them, and there's so many players in the SEC. 7 of the top 11 of the best high school players in this class are playing in the SEC right now. Rakia Jackson's one of them.
And a major impact. 2 of them are starting for South Carolina. So, I mean, you just look at the future is bright for the SEC.
Yeah, it's been insane to see all these fresh facemen, Drea.
The freshmen have been amazing, Courtney, and I actually talked to head coach of Texas A&M, Gary Blair, and he told me that this freshman class, they're fearless. They don't back down. They haven't hit a wall. He actually went as far as saying that this is the best freshman class that he's seen in the SEC since he's been in the league.
I would definitely agree. And Andrea, there were so many questions coming into this season about how good the SEC was going to be because this freshman class was pretty big and highly ranked. It's been outstanding.
Well, because you also had players that transferred or graduated that had a significant input into this conference. And so until you see these freshmen play at this speed, you don't know what can happen. But early on, there was a good sign that we were going to be entertained this season.
So far, Rakia Jackson, the stud freshman for Mississippi State, has not scored. Remember, she did not start due to a violation of team rules, was out for about just a little over 2 minutes. Hey, that's big because that's another foul on Kayla Pointer, her 2nd, and she is so critical to what LSU wants to do.
I think that what the official saw was the lead with Kayla Pointer's shoulder. And that's why she was called for the offensive foul.
Maya Taylor has taken 44 charges this season for Mississippi State. And she's had 60 steals, so that's 16% of Mississippi State's turnovers thanks to Maya Taylor, their point guard.
She is just such a headsy player, and it seems like Vic Schaefer always has one on his team. He has Dominique Dillingham, who played for him, who is on his staff now. Blair Schaefer, his own daughter, was terrific at drawing charges, and now he's got Maya Taylor.
Jalen Cherry tries for the putback, and it's blocked by Bibby. Awatrazi in traffic. Jump ball, possession arrow, Mississippi State. Going back to those Mississippi State toughness plays, I was talking to Blair Schaefer yesterday at their practice, and I asked her about Maya Taylor's charges because that's what we saw from Blair when she was a player. And She said Maya was a little disappointed she wasn't an SEC all-defensive team member, and Blair said, look, I wasn't either until my senior year. You just got to go out there and establish that you are a defensive-minded player, and it'll come.
Well, she has forced 103 turnovers. She has forced 16% of Mississippi State's turnovers. She's been the cause of that and doesn't make the all-defensive team. Come on now.
Bree Beal didn't make it either for South Carolina.
Oh, don't even get me started on that one.
Yeah. Wait till tomorrow when we have that.
Okay, okay. Because I got a whole dissertation on why she should have been on that all-defensive team.
Maya Taylor drives in, doesn't get the bucket, but is going to the free throw line. Mississippi State hasn't scored in almost 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Now Faustina Fua, she's picked up a foul now at the end of this first quarter. That was something that she did a really good job with against Florida, was going straight up, not swatting while blocking shots. And she said that's something that Ayanna Mitchell had talked to her about before the game. Go straight up because you've got to stay in the game. She has got to be that disciplined today.
Jalen Richard Harris trying to get some help.
One of the things they're missing with Kayla Pointer in foul trouble. She brings the calmness to this LSU team.
8 seconds. Richard Harris looking for her second three. Jessica Carter. Oh, Faustine. Nasty. Don't bring that in here.
That was a force. Jessica Carter's coming full speed down the lane. And Faustina Fua said, I ain't having none of that.
She had 3 blocks yesterday against Florida. Last 3 games, 16 blocks. And like you said, she's been playing smart. She hasn't been getting into foul trouble as of late.
She understands when you have Ayanna Mitchell unavailable to play, her minutes are so valuable with the size and the dominance that she brings inside.
Ayanna Mitchell on the bench for LSU. Injured her knee on February 2nd against Texas A&M. Her LSU career is done. The good news is we'll get to see her on the next level of basketball because she is so talented.
She had surgery last week. I talked to her before the game. She said that things seem to be going well. I said, how do you feel about having to stay behind the bench? She said, that's safe for me.
Protect that knee. They dish it back to Rakia Jackson looking for her first points. Look at LSU on top of the number 2 seed here in Greenville. Tigers up 13-10. Against Texas A&M, they were down by 13 points in the 3rd quarter. And Maya Taylor just decided that she was not losing that game. And neither was Mississippi State, and they won. And it was incredible to see the quick turnaround. LSU's got to be prepared for that.
When you're built with the foundation as defense first, knowing that you've got scores, you always have a chance to be in any ball game.
LSU is going to look a little bit different, though, for a while because, remember, Kayla Pointer has 2 fouls. She's their point guard, runs this team like a well-oiled machine. She's going to be on the bench.
And Faustina Fua has 1 foul as well, so Nikki Farkas is going to have to pick and choose how many minutes she plays Faustine.
Jalasia Thomas is down low for LSU, number 32 in purple. Yamaya Morris has come in for Mississippi State in the paint. Rakia Jackson, oh, that was too easy. Her first points.
Another talented freshman, Tiara Young, in for LSU. The top recruits from the state of Louisiana decided to stay home.
Oh, Jalen Cherry had a great opportunity there. An open look at the basket.
Nakia Jackson, you watch just that quick first step. Hesitation, she slips by the defense in nice elevation and finish.
Nakia Jackson, a second-team All-SEC and an All-SEC freshman team selection. She leads Mississippi State in points per game. Shot clock violation on LSU.
That's what you miss when you don't have Kayla Pointer on the floor. That veteran leader, junior point guard that would always be aware of how much time's on the shot clock.
On the bench with 2 fouls. LSU had a 9-0 run, and now they've gone scoreless over the last 5 minutes and counting until I said it. Faustina Fua, look at her range.
But what I love is her post patience. She catches, checks, then she squared up, found the basket, finish.
Danbury in and out.
Feed the beast. Keep going inside to Faustina Fua.
Ten seconds now on the shot clock. Oh, Faustina Fua was right there.
Now she can't miss the easy ones.
Taylor goes back to Danbury. Great ball movement. Yamaya Morris finishes.
Unselfish basketball by Mississippi State. And that all started with the graduate of Jordan Danbury.
Aren't they glad they got her cleared to come back and play this season? Granted an extra year of eligibility by the NCAA.
Check this out. Mississippi State does a tremendous job. When you talk about one more, extra pass, one more, Jordan Danbury to Morris on the other side. That's how you get easy buckets.
Three seconds. Tierra Young's got to put something up, and it's a three!
How many of those have we seen in just the last 2 days?
Shot clock's winding down. They just throw something up.
And it goes in. It's tournament time. Anything can happen.
They meant to do it, right?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
That's when the coach on the sideline goes, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah, you go, no, no, no. Yes.
Cherry elevates, banks it in.
Confidence in transition comes from putting in work, extra work, outside of practice, and that's what Jalen Cherry has done.
Just recently, Nikki Fargas told us she sat down with Jalen Cherry in the PMAC in their arena, and just they had an honest conversation, and Coach Fargas told her, look, you're one of the most talented players that I've ever coached, but we need Cherry. We don't need Jalen. We need you balling out, and you're Cherry when you're balling out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I said sometimes Jalen is not engaged, but Cherry is always ready to come to play. And she is roommates with Kayla Pointer, and Kayla said ever since Yaz been out, three! All right, Awatrazi? And she said ever since Ayana Mitchell has been out, Cherry, even after games, would come back to the apartment and say, look, I'm going to go get extra shots, extra work in. And that has really transpired over onto the court to help her give her more confidence.
Look, LSU is 11th out of 14 teams in the SEC in three-point percentage, and today they're shooting 80%.
Nikki said, look, we don't have to make threes every day. We just have to make threes on the right day.
Selective threes.
You know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I'll take luck all day long, and so will Tierra Young from 3, knocking it down.
LSU usually relies a lot on paint points. They score 52% of their points in the paint, but look at their numbers from 3 over the last 2 days. They are 7 for 11.
I told you, Nikki Fargas said she doesn't need to make threes every day. You just need to make threes on the right day. And the right days must be when you get to the SEC tournament.
Yeah, the free throws, too, have been knocking down. Remember, they come into this game shooting 61% from the charity stripe, and yesterday they just crushed it a whopping 90% from the foul line.
And that's not like 9 for 10. That was 18 for 20 from the free throw line.
That is solid, Drea.
Just listened in on the Mississippi State huddle, and Coach Schaefer told his team the mistakes that they're making on defense are just mental breakdowns. He needs them to be locked in. He said LSU, they're making shots, but they're getting open shots, and he expects them to make those. They've got to turn it up.
Are we surprised that Coach Schaefer is coaching defense hard?
Not one bit. But that was one of the things in coming into this tournament, the end of the regular season. He said, our offense has improved, our chemistry has improved, but he was not happy with their defense. And that's surprising because that's probably the one thing they spend the most time on.
You ever watch a Mississippi State practice, one, you will be mentally exhausted from all that they have to do. It is tough, but they spend a lot of time on defense because that is what Vic Schaefer prides himself on, and it's gotten them a lot of success.
And the timing of when they work on defense in practice, it's usually at the end when you're tired. Because you've got to, if you're going to be a good defensive team, you've got to be able to defend when you're tired. That's when you've got that gut check.
And Mississippi State players love to come play in games because they've said multiple times it's a lot easier than practice.
Oh yeah, you got to get down and get after it.
That Vic Schaefer defense won a national championship at Texas A&M in 2011. It's gotten Mississippi State to a couple of Final Four appearances in a national title game.
Sydney Carter, Sydney Colson. Those two were a great 1-2 punch.
Danbury from the foul line. There's a scrum on the floor.
Is it a jump ball? Mercedes Brooks was holding the ball with her feet.
And then I just saw officials point the opposite directions. Oh, it was a kickball. Amy Bonner letting us know what's going on. It was a kickball, so Mississippi State has it.
Awatrazi working hard, trying to post up Rakia Jackson.
We talk so much about Faustina Fua stepping up. Awatrazi has stepped up since Ayana Mitchell's injury.
And that's a post player that's got three-point range. She can muscle it up down low, but she can also step out and drain it.
3 seconds. Cherry from deep. 3 minutes till the half.
Keep an eye on Espinoza Hunter, number 2. This is another player that was a tremendous three-point shooter last season for Mississippi State.
Or if she's wide open, she'll take the lane to the basket, right?
And the thing that she did is continuous movement against the zone. A lot of people think that playing a zone is easy. I think it's harder than playing a man because you've constantly got to be engaged with action, not only with where the ball is, but where the next person is.
They're going to get Espinoza Hunter on the armbar here.
You watch Espinoza Hunter. She's cutting through and away on the backside. So when there's a double team with that LSU zone, she's wide open for the cut to the basket.
Espinoza Hunter played one season at UConn, only made 7 appearances before coming to Mississippi State. Was the New York Gatorade Player of the Year. Hit an SEC tournament record 8 threes against Arkansas last year. Money.
That's what a post player wants the ball. Look, if you touch it, you catch it. And Faustina Fua went after it and then finished the basket.
How much has she grown from her first year at LSU to now?
Oh my gosh, I don't even recognize her from her first year at LSU. I mean, she has really increased her game. She has made her stock go up. She'll be a potential, after one more year, she'll be ready for the next level in the WNBA.
Redshirt junior right now for Nikki Fargas. Faustina Fua, member of the SEC All-Defensive Team this year.
Coach Fargas says that Faustina Fua has worked extra hard with Coach Charlene Thomas-Swinson, and she said that Faustine still has no idea how good she's going to be. She is so humble and just keeps working.
That's exactly what you want, somebody who wants to work hard. Oh, big shot from Rakia Jackson. Just a 4-point lead now for LSU.
So many coaches talk about in the post game, it is more than just the physical moves, the strength inside, but it's also the mental aspect, because there are many times as a post player, you run the floor, you don't get to touch the ball, but you still have to stay engaged in the game.
Mercedes Brooks tripped up. Espinoza Hunter called for her second.
The composure LSU with Kayla Pointer on the bench.
2 fouls for Pointer. Mercedes Brooks whistled for the foul.
You look at Kayla Pointer and Ayanna Mitchell up off the bench, directing traffic, but they can only do it from the sideline.
Yeah. Danbury down to Jackson. Afua did a nice job of staying straight up. Danbury again, finally. 6 points for Jordan Danbury. LSU can take the last shot of the half. Faustine in traffic, going to the line. Just a 53% free throw shooter. Fua's got 8 points this evening. She's shooting 50% from the field.
But what did that foul do? That put 2 on Jessica Carter. We got to remember that going into that second half down the stretch as these 2 go at it inside. Little mama, Richard Harris went to talk to Faustina Fua and said, "You got this. You should follow through, hit this free throw."
You got to listen to little mama. Now Jackson fumbled it. Oh! You gotta double check it, but that was pretty sweet. They're gonna take a look at it, but that'll give you a little life going to the locker room.
You think?
Sandra Espinoza-Hunter. Heck of a three if it counts.
Check the clock.
Yeah. That should count. Mississippi State may have just grabbed the momentum. They end the half on a 7-0 run. Let's get you back up to the studio with Alyssa, Steffi, and Andy. What a shot, guys.
Yeah, my goodness. What a way to end the half for Mississippi State. A 1-point lead over LSU as we welcome you into the SEC Halftime Report. I'm Alyssa Lang. Joining me, Steffi Sorensen, Andy Landers. We're getting ready for the show. We hear the crowd roar, and we all kind of turn around and say, oh my goodness, what happened? What a way to end the half. What a way to walk into the locker room. Here's another look at it. Espinoza-Hunter with the heave at the buzzer. Coach, you love to see it.
Yeah, you think she's behind the three-point line?
Yeah, I think,
How about the center circle?
Yeah, they practice that, right? You always see the videos
you throw
from
a few of those up. Yeah, you throw a few of those up.
Lobbing up the
Just for
half-court
that
shot.
Excitement just before the half here in Greenville, South Carolina at the SEC tournament. Mississippi State, a buzzer beater to take the lead. Right before they went into the locker room, we're getting set for the third quarter here in this quarterfinal game between LSU and Mississippi State. Just a 1-point game. That's exactly what we want, right? A close game. It's been really fun. Mississippi State, it took them a minute, but they started to figure out their way through LSU's zone.
Well, I think with LSU staying in that zone for the complete first half, Mississippi State has found a way to find the mismatches. Anytime there was a late matchup for LSU, Mississippi State was able to capitalize on that, able to slip behind the zone and willing to make that extra pass. When that happens, easy buckets seem to manufacture themselves against the zone.
Mississippi State into the half on a 7-0 run. Espinoza-Hunter threw up a shot to beat the buzzer with that three. And then check out LSU. Both teams really have been sharing the ball, but LSU 8 assists on 10 made field goals.
And you have Mississippi State. They have 9 assists on 11 field goals. So it's going to be a matter of which team can do a better job of taking care of the basketball, create open and easy shots, and knock them down.
Winner of our game is moving on to the semifinals to face either Tennessee or Kentucky. That game coming up when we finish this one here in Greenville. Mississippi State is 21-2 this season. Excuse me, 22-1 this season when leading at the half.
It'll be interesting to watch with these two teams play free throw shooting. How often you get there and how efficient you are from there. Also, points in the paint.
Jalen Cherry in trouble, picks up her dribble. Kayla Pointer back on the floor. LSU didn't have her for a majority of that first half. She only played 7 minutes due to foul trouble. And that is the person who orchestrates everything for this LSU offense.
Well, if there's anybody that knows what LSU and Nikki Fargas want to run, it's Kayla Pointer, because Nikki Fargas is her aunt, and it is fun to watch them communicate on the floor. They have constant conversation.
Inside to Faustina Fua. Breaking down Jessica Carter. Bounces off the back of the iron. Rakia Jackson over 2 defenders. She did not start this game due to a violation of team rules, but has started the second half. They kick it out to Jalen Richard Harris.
Now, yesterday, LSU extremely patient, using a lot of the shot clock against Florida.
Awatrazi. LSU has already hit 4 3-pointers in this game. They only average 3 a game.
We go back to that second quarter in the Florida game for LSU, though they were, what, 10 of 11 from the floor, very patient. They were very deliberate about getting the ball inside.
Fua didn't have a choice, and she's going to get the assist.
I told you, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Wow. That might be one of my favorite plays in the tournament.
There have been a few so far. This has been fun. We've had great games for the most part.
I was on my feet at the end of that Arkansas game. That was just crazy earlier today.
Faustina Fua just saving the ball over her shoulder. Awatrazi picks it up and finishes. And Faustina Fua, she like shook her head like that's exactly what she meant to do.
It was.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that.
I believe in her. Carter can't finish the 3-point play, but Mississippi State will get a fresh 20. Rakia Jackson, beautiful. Watch out when she heats up. She's got 8. And then a block on the other end.
Rakia Jackson times it. Jalen Cherry, all she can do is watch it just go out of bounds.
Taken away by State. Maya Taylor pushing. Open lane to the hoop. Largest lead for Mississippi State.
They don't want that young sophomore to get heated up. We saw what she did against Texas A&M earlier this year.
Just dangerous.
She had 16 points in the second half.
It was awesome to watch. Three seconds on the shot clock. Cherry's got to shoot. Nine turnovers now for LSU. You think that's one of Vic Schaefer's favorite plays, is getting a shot clock violation by his defense?
That's the biggest reward you can get defensively, because it's really dejecting to the offense that they get taken out of their offense and not even get a shot off.
Count that bucket by KP. That's a big response. Ends a 6-point run for Mississippi State. Pointer will go to the line. Remember, didn't play very many minutes in that first half due to foul trouble. Jordan Danbury. Man, when she's on, her shot looks so easy.
And she plays without thinking. Her natural instincts with her quickness, she's so good with the basketball.
She can get to her spot on the floor and elevate. Not really a 3-point threat, but anywhere else inside that arc, you better watch out.
LSU has gone away from getting touches for Faustina Fua.
Tierra Young hits in the paint. LSU led the majority of the first half before Mississippi State hit a buzzer beater right before the break to take the lead. Two from Rickea Jackson. She's in double figures. Only player in this game in double figures. Oh yeah, Jordan Danbury.
That's a senior that doesn't want to go home, or a graduate student that doesn't want her college conference play to be over.
Danbury's got 10, Rickea Jackson has 10. Largest lead for State. They're on a 12-4 run. And Tierra Young is fouled. It's on Carter.
It's been all Mississippi.
Look at who is winning with style tonight, and it's brought to you by Belk. Mississippi State has turned it around. I think it started with that buzzer beater 3 by Andra Espinoza-Hunter before the half.
A play like that will swing the momentum, and then you have Rickea Jackson come into the game and turn things up both offensively and defensively for the Bulldogs. She can be that hype person, that exciting person, and she really fueled off that into the quarter or into the half. Shoot, that makes you want to come out and play in the second half.
And they certainly are. Mississippi State is trying to bolster their resume for the NCAA tournament. Of course, they are in. Charlie Kareem has them as a 3 seed right now. Their RPI is at 14. They are 6-3 against the RPI top 50. But just you keep on winning in this tournament, it's only going to help them.
Well, they could possibly move up to a number 2, maybe in looking at what may happen with other teams, other tournaments. Somebody get upset, there could be some movement, but you control your own destiny by taking care of your own business.
Mississippi State is the 2 seed. Here, we're going to get to see the 3 seed coming up. Kentucky will make its debut in Greenville following this LSU-Mississippi State game. Going to be interesting to see how the Wildcats respond after that loss at Vanderbilt on Sunday. They've got Tennessee coming up next.
So what happened to you guys in Nashville against Vanderbilt? They blamed it on me. They said it was the aura of my history in Nashville. And I told them, I said, I didn't play defense when I was at Vanderbilt. And they looked at each other, Jada Roper and Ryan Howard, and they said, we didn't either.
Yeah. Trust me, Matthew Mitchell has made sure over this last week that they're going to play some defense tonight against Tennessee.
He's about lost his voice.
I noticed that.
We talked to him at practice, so he has been, I would say, the hype man in practice, getting after it with great intensity, preparing for this tournament.
I would advise him that pineapple is very good for the voice. Mike Keith of the Tennessee Titans told me that. And we'll pass that along to Matthew Mitchell.
Get you some honey. A hot toddy.
Mississippi State won it all at the SEC tournament last year. 4 straight SEC tournament title game appearances for Mississippi State, and they've been a top 2 seed for 4 straight seasons.
Guys, in that last huddle, Ayanna Mitchell was coaching up Faustina Fua. She was all in her ear. And actually, Fua told me about the Arkansas game. It was away, and Ayanna Mitchell FaceTimed the team just to coach them up and talk to them. Guys, she is in it, coaching them up, and there for them 100%.
Trey, that's one of the reasons that Nikki Fergus wanted Ayanna Mitchell to come, because Ayanna called her and said, look, I just had surgery. I don't want to be a distraction for my team here at the SEC tournament. And Nikki said, you are coming because you're the reason we're in this position. That we got here, like that we got a 7 seed, that we're having a great season.
Well, the way that she started things out, she was one of the top field goal percentage shooters in the country, efficient with finishing inside. She was a beast on the boards and really caused LSU to win a lot of games before her injury. So she has just asked the team to carry on her energy throughout the rest of the season.
I mean, she's got so much respect from her teammates and so much respect from other coaches in this league. Vic Schaefer went over before the game to give Ayanna Mitchell a hug and talk to her for a good minute over there before going back to his team to get ready for this game.
When they finished conversing, you could see Ayanna Mitchell mouth the words, "I promise." And I can guarantee you that Vic Schaefer challenged her to work hard to get herself back for an opportunity to play at the next level in the pros.
Fifth player at LSU with 1,000 points and 500 boards. She's just an energy and effort player. No wonder Vic Schaefer admires her.
That's the kind of player he loves.
Yeah,
absolutely. Kind of pressure defense is what Vic Schaefer loves to see from his team.
Ten turnovers now for LSU. Look at that move from Rickea Jackson.
She does a terrific job of creating space. She very rarely forces shots. She gets either around or over the defense, but never trying to go through the defender.
28 points in the paint for Mississippi State, 12 for LSU. We were interested to see this battle down low because these two teams have posts who are very different with Faustina Fua and Rickea Jackson. And then you have every guard who can just take it to the rack.
Mississippi State's mentality is when you have the ball, look at that little orange ring.
Shoot, baby, shoot. LSU needs to talk about it. Mississippi State up 46-33. All 14 SEC schools have an SEC legend honored here at the SEC tournament. Martha Alwal is Mississippi State's legend. She was already a part of the program when Vic Schaefer and his staff came to Starkville, the second player to lead the SEC. Her numbers are just incredible about what she's been able to do. A three-time All-SEC selection, one of four in the conference with 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 300 blocks.
Well, you've got to credit Johnny Harris in the development of Martha Alwal, then Chinwe Okori, then there was Tiara McCowan, and now they have Jessica Carter, who has made tremendous strides from her freshman to her sophomore season. If you're a post player and you go to Mississippi State, I can pretty much guarantee you your game is going to develop, and you will have the ability to play at the next level.
Vic Schaefer was very complimentary of Martha Alwal about them taking over the program, and she went to work to try to work her style so that she could play for Vic Schaefer, and really made a huge transformation over the time that she worked with this coaching staff.
Well, what I love about what Johnny Harris does is when she works with the post players, it's not you make one post move and then you're done. Every move is finished with that second jump. So even if you make the shot, you've got to jump and get the ball out of the net, and then you've got to go back up and score it again. And what she's trying to do is keep the post players light on their feet, and it has paid off. It has paid dividends for players like Jessica Carter.
Mississippi State has 32 paint points. Now, that's not all the bigs, because all these guards from Mississippi State will drive in and score. But look at the scoring difference here in the third quarter. State has scored 20 points. LSU has scored 8.
Jordan Danbury has 12. She has really made it a mission to attack the paint.
And they've made it a mission to take the ball away. Maya Taylor. A 12-2 run for the Bulldogs.
I tell you, Maya Taylor caused 16% of the turnovers forced by Mississippi State. That's one player.
Jalen Cherry for 2 at the buzzer, count it. Both of these teams looking for a spot in the semifinal. They will either get Tennessee or Kentucky. That'll be decided later tonight here on the SEC Network. Jessica Carter, you talk about post-development, that was a pretty sweet move.
The way she elevated again, going around Faustina Fua.
Young with the crossover, but then Mingo Young got a hand on it. Kayla Pointer is going to come back in, replacing Jalen Richard Harris.
The offense for LSU is not flowing as freely as it did yesterday against Florida. The defense of Mississippi State. The rotation, that second-level defender.
State can take their time building up this lead here, a 15-point lead after trailing by 7. She just patting the stat sheet.
Getting her some offensive rebounds. That's the 4-player for Mississippi State. She started on the perimeter, then came in, got her 2 offensive rebounds and the finish.
Should have done it one more time. She needs a rebound for a double-double. Mississippi State is going to end the third quarter on a 12-2 run. They've hit 6 of their last 8 shots. The number 2 seed looking pretty good against LSU. A spot in the semifinals up for grabs. Mississippi State leads LSU with 10 minutes to play here in our quarterfinal. They're up 52-37. Today has not disappointed. How about Arkansas? Earlier today, they trailed by 17 points against Texas A&M. Have a chance to tie it. Kiera Williams gets fouled, goes to the line, hits both shots to put Arkansas up. They put the ball in the hands of Kennedy Carter. She can't get the shot to go. And look at Arkansas back in the semifinals for the 2nd straight year.
This was the 2nd largest comeback since 2008. When you have a team like Arkansas, who not only will shoot the 3, but make the 3, they keep themselves in any ball game. So far in 2 games, Courtney, they have already taken 69 threes.
It was impressive. Andrea Carter was at the game. I can't imagine what it felt like in those last moments.
Courtney, the energy was absolutely electrifying, and what you didn't see was the first quarter. Arkansas was down 12-0. They could not buy a bucket, and they battled back. They fought back. Their senior, Kiera Williams, who Coach Mike Neighbors said she could have left when he became the coach, but she stuck with the program, so he was so happy for her. And they're like the miracle child in the SEC tournament. They got it done again.
Made that incredible run last year, Drea, all the way to the championship game. They eliminated South Carolina last year in the SEC tournament.
Rematch.
Yeah, guess who they got tomorrow? South Carolina. Arkansas led for a whopping 8.6 seconds.
Well, I tell you, if Arkansas is going against South Carolina, they can't spot them 12 points and get themselves in a hole. They have no shot at getting back against the Gamecocks.
South Carolina just rolled past Georgia 89-56 earlier today. That's 24 straight wins.
Their defense. So much respect for South Carolina's defense at all 5 possessions. And their bench. Victoria Saxton came in and had a huge game today. Her presence felt, blocking shots, getting on the glass, rebounding, and finishing.
Still think they're the team to beat, right, here at Greenville?
Yes, no question.
I mean, they are so tough right now. Nobody could beat them in the regular season, went 16-0. Mingo Young under the hoop. 40 paint points for Mississippi State.
And Mississippi State gets about 57% of their offense going inside. And it's not a secret. Everybody in the country knows it, but there's a difference between knowing it and stopping it.
Turnover. Lost a shoe, mass chaos, count the bucket, she is fouled. Somebody check on Vic.
Rakia Jackson finishes down on the floor, and Vic Schaefer, he has to go down and put his hands on his knees. I think this young group has really worked his last nerve.
Hey, he's had to take a little bit of a different coaching style with such a young team.
But he's understood that you cannot coach different players the same way. You've got to really find a pulse of your team, how to motivate them, how to keep them connected, how to keep them engaged. And he has done a terrific job with this young group this season.
I've just been so impressed at what he's done at Mississippi State because there's been, I think it's now, this is the 3rd year they've graduated at least 4 starters, and they just keep rolling them in. The talent is there. I mean, you look at Maya Taylor, that's a 3-time Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Mississippi, and she redshirted her first year.
Played behind Mo Williams, the superstar Itty Bitty, then Jasmine Holmes, but she just waited her turn because she knew the opportunity was going to present itself, and if she was patient and she absorbed what she needed to learn, she would take over the reins, hold the keys to run this Mississippi State program.
Carolyn, my favorite quote that Coach Vic Schaefer has ever said to me is, "We don't rebuild, we just reload." He is never worried when he's losing all-star seniors because he's got people in line that have been working really hard that he trusts.
Well, when you've got a recruiter again, Johnny Harris and his staff do a nice job of going out, and you look at how they built it. They found a player. You remember a player by the name of Victoria Vivians? Nobody knew about her, but Coach Schaefer kept telling me, "Carolyn, wait till you see her." And she was worth the wait, especially her freshman year. She was putting up big numbers early in her career.
Volume shooter early on.
And let me tell you, she was open from the concession stand.
It's hard to believe she's broke the national record for high school points and was not a McDonald's All-American. And came to Mississippi State, and they went to a couple Final Fours.
Well, she's from Carthage, Mississippi. I don't think anybody had heard of her.
Vic Schaefer had.
You got that right.
In his 8th season at Mississippi State, they were in the title game in 2017 and 2018, was the National Coach of the Year, a 2-time SEC Coach of the Year. His daughter Blair was on those teams that went to the title games. Now she's a part of his support staff.
When you look at programs in the SEC, 2 programs that I'm looking at that have had coaches changes in just not so long ago, say in the last 12 to 15 years, that got it right, Mississippi State and South Carolina. Not only do they have winning programs, not only are they backing that up with great talent, when you go to their arenas, they are packing the house. They have engaged in the community. They have really endeared each of their cities, and so the fan base has been phenomenal.
If you go to a Mississippi State game, they're lined up 2 hours before outside to get in.
You got to get there early to find a parking spot.
That's a packed hump.
LSU trying to turn up the pressure. All right, Taurasi knew she fouled. Very rarely do you see a player that goes, yeah, that's right, I did it.
That's her third. Chloe Bibby is going to come in for Mississippi State and replace Maya Taylor.
We have Chloe Bibby in the game with Rickea Jackson, and a lot of teams that they face, those two are interchangeable. At times, Rickea can go to the 3, and Coach Schaefer can play Chloe Bibby at the 4. And that's another 3-point shooter.
Second chance for Yamaya Morris.
You love her.
I think she's got a lot of potential.
Yes.
Especially with having Johnny Harris on the staff to develop her. There have been flashes where I've really liked what I've saw.
When Jessica Carter has gotten into foul trouble, the team has really needed to depend on her. More times than not, she has stepped up big.
Out of San Bernardino, California, went to community college for a couple of seasons, JUCO, before coming to Mississippi State. Third in the nation last year in JUCO, hitting 52% from the field. That's a high percentage shot right there for Jordan Danbury. And she can tack on another point too.
I gotta check her back, her jersey. Does she have wings? I swear that young lady can fly. The way she turns the corner, change of speed. You never know when that acceleration is going to kick in.
Second foul on Faustina Fua. Danbury's got 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Rickea Jackson for 2. State back up to its largest lead.
Her shot is so smooth. LSU, I believe, is hitting the panic. They're trying to force things.
LSU calls a timeout here after that Faustina Fua bucket. Best of Vic Schaefer, his Mississippi State Bulldogs. Is Aaliyah Boston, and she was wicked good.
Did you say wicked good?
Wicked smart.
Just flexed her muscles inside. She had to go against a tough Jenna Stady, who had been playing really strong for Georgia. But once the freshman got settled in, she was the big presence inside Dawn Staley needed.
9 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks, 2 steals, a little bit of everything. South Carolina, this is kind of what makes up their team. They have great leadership from Ty Harris, and then their starters are so good, but it's not just the starters, because if somebody's not having their best game, well, you just go to your bench, who's 31% of the team's offense.
But I think the key to all of that, when you said leadership, you have a championship experienced point guard in Ty Harris, who understands what Dawn Staley wants. She understands when the ball needs to go to who, and she also knows when it's her time, Ty time, to get things done.
Love Ty time.
I do
One
too.
of my favorite times. Right next to Ryan Howard time, which is coming up right after this game here in Greenville. We'll see Kentucky and the SEC Player of the Year.
Right now, it's Jordan Berry time, dropping dimes.
Danbury with 14 points, picking up the assist there. It's so good to see she's kind of got her rhythm back. There were a couple of games where she was disappearing for Mississippi State.
Well, I think it hit a point at times when she would be really concerned about her shot, which is unusual for her because she really prides herself in her defense. And when she gets focused back in, locked in on the defense, then the rest of her game comes together.
Danbury will go to the line now. And we asked her about playing with this young team because remember, she's the only senior. And she said, you've got to coach them. I've had to work on everybody being a good teammate because it's such a young group and they're trying to learn how to play with each other.
And to have the patience with a young group. You can't have a short fuse. When the mistakes are made, you have to have a little bit of forgiveness as these young players learn. You don't want to get too close to Jordan Danbury. She will just zoom right past you.
Great rebound by Chloe Bibby.
LSU cannot just allow Mississippi State to use the clock.
Woo! Jordan Danbury.
She's known for her defense, but she is a terrific offensive weapon because of her quickness and how she can score in the window. She just needs a little brief space and she can make you pay.
18 points.
The luxury that Vic Schaefer has when he wants to get more scoring from his point guard position, what does he do? Give the ball to Jordan Danbury.
4 seconds, though. My goodness.
How much time do you need, Courtney Lyle?
1 second.
That's it.
Got the shot off in time, Rickea Jackson.
Cool, calm, and collected. Rickea Jackson, the freshman from Mississippi State, knocking it down. The Bulldogs, man, they're handling things.
That's Miss Jackson to you.
Oh, if you're nasty.
Yeah. It's her seventh 20-point game. She's got 21.
That's a great combination when you've got Rickea Jackson and Jordan Danbury taking over the offense. When they are playing downhill, really pushing pace and running up the backside of the defense, Mississippi State is hard to guard, hard to stop. And Rickea Jackson may not have started this game, but she's definitely finishing it with a bang, bringing her tenacity to the court.
No points in the first quarter, 21 points since. Set out the first 2 minutes and change for a violation of team rules.
I like that block, though, by Jordan Danbury. She said, what, did I get it with the body? Because up top, it was all ball.
Mississippi State is trying to hang on to make it to the semifinals tomorrow, where they will get either Tennessee or Kentucky.
This tournament's been fun. We've seen a lot of good play. You know, early on, sometimes the early days of the tournament, there's nerves. People don't shoot the ball extremely well. This tournament started out hot. Like players just fit in, like that comfortable broken-in house shoe I talk about. These players just felt like, you know what? It's 94 feet. You got baskets on each end. Let's play ball.
Played here last year. They remember it. Jemiah Mingo Young.
Greenville does a fantastic job hosting this tournament. I've eaten my way through this city.
Yeah, it's been great. We'll be back here next year, also for the SEC Women's Tournament. Awatrazi with the long ball. And LSU is going to call timeout. LSU defeated Florida to get here. This is Mississippi State's first game in the SEC tournament. If they can hang on here, State will be moving on to the semifinals. Don't forget, we have Kentucky and Tennessee coming up for you next, approximately 8 Eastern. It'll be 25 minutes after this game finishes up. And that's interesting. Kentucky beat Tennessee in their last meeting.
Well, I think that both teams are different and more experienced now. I think the development of the postgame, especially for Tennessee, Tamari King and Cassie Kishketawa inside. And they've always had Renaya Davis going against a tough Ryan Howard for Kentucky.
That game is coming up next. We will see LSU again, though. They are going to get into the NCAA tournament, according to Charlie Cream. Right now, he has LSU as the 9 seed. If they were to win this game, he thought they would move up to the 8 seed, but they've got some work to do.
I always wondered if with LSU, without having Ayanna Mitchell, would the committee hold that against him? But if they have earned the right, the body of work, you've got to put them in.
Bibby for 3, Rakia Jackson crashing the boards and is fouled by Trazi. That's 4 on Awatrazi.
You talk about Rakia Jackson, a post with guard skills. She works out with the post players. She spends time with that second jump, and that's what makes her so good on the offensive glass.
Rakia Jackson's got her 3rd double-double this season, 21 points, 10 rebounds. Rakia Jackson, Jordan Danbury, they will take a seat, both in double figures. Jackson, 23 points, 10 rebounds. Jordan Danbury, 18 points. Look, LSU is going to be a tough team for whoever gets them in the NCAA tournament.
And what's going to make whoever plays LSU, they've got to be prepared, because Nikki Fargas is going to have a defensive game plan. For the most part, it's going to be difficult for you to score. Now, what Nikki Fargas has got to take a hard look at is where is her offense going to come from. You have Faustina Fua, you have Kayla Porter, but who else can you get on a consistent basis?
We will get to see Mississippi State tomorrow in the semifinals. Either Tennessee or LSU, excuse me, or Kentucky is who the Bulldogs will face. This LSU team, though, has been so tough. Losing their leader, one of the best players on the floor, in Ayanna Mitchell. They still have fought. They still have played hard every game. Players have stepped up. It's been impressive to watch Nikki Fargas's team this year. Missed the postseason last year. Not the case in 2020.
The LSU Tigers, they have played hard. They just haven't been able to score consistently, and they have caught a Mississippi State team that has gotten themselves back on track.
State shooting 52% in this game. foul call on Dominique Davis. Don't go anywhere. Remember, we will have Tennessee and Kentucky coming up. Melissa, Andy, and Steffi in the studio got you covered to get you prepped for that game. Tennessee struggled yesterday, started out really slow, but then were able to get the win over Missouri, and they had a season low in turnovers.
Kelly Harper, first of all, made a terrific adjustment in the second half. Really loosened up defensively and started taking away the driving lanes for Missouri to get to the basket so easily. The other thing that she did in the second half is make an even more concentrated effort of getting the ball inside and letting her post players go isolated one-on-one. When that happened, good things happened, and that's how Tennessee was able to take